review on the Lego Titanic. And here she is. An absolute beauty of a ship. You know, it took me a long time to build this thing. I believe it was about maybe 40 odd hours. I've not done the math yet. But maybe I can post the sheet of the times of each and every single packet. Maybe one of you in the comment section can potentially do the math for me. If so, I'll pin your comment. But as you can see, as I do these very sketchy panoramic shots, this thing is massive. About it's not 1.5 meters long, but I'd probably say around there. It's as wide as it is, as long as my bed is wide, and it weighs 7 kilos. Here in Australia, it costs $1,000 to buy. All the way down to the smallest little detail, this ship has it all. Every single bench is there, every single vent is there, every window, every little detail and thing, little knick-knack, it's all there. All the way down to little steps leading up to the compass tower, to a door leading into the wheelhouse and bridge, which actually does fully loop around to the other door on the opposite side. I'll probably be able to show you that if just look away if you really like this build. Give me a second. There you go, from the back. Yeah, as you can see, it goes in there, travels around the back, and pops out there. There is no actual wheelhouse, but it's cool to see that this corridor is a full, complete one on board the ship. There's thousands of details on this ship, from auxiliary anchor, flags, cargo holds. One of these I actually do believe it's this one. If you open it, excuse me for a second, yeah, there you go. Leads to nothing but the interior, but if you wanted to pretend, you could pretend you're putting cargo in there. Don't actually put something in there, you have to pull off the ship's hull plating to get it out. But the good thing is, this hull plating is one of the last things you put on the bow. That's just some simple reverse engineering of the instructions. Up here we've got a crow's nest, we've got some blue strings, okay, there's some more tension in them. We got the dome of the forward grand staircase, going all the way up from boat deck down to, I believe, D deck? Well, it's D deck. Then, the lesser known aft grand staircase, which went from A deck down to D deck. And there was a large corridor down on D deck, if I'm getting that right. I'll do a Google, I'll put words in if I'm wrong. But yeah, there was a hallway on this side called Scotland Road, connected these two stairwells. Sad thing is, third class passengers had access to it, but they didn't know they had access to these stairwells. So during the sinking, they came out of the ship up back here, back and here, minimizing their access to the lifeboats, meaning most third class passengers, by the time they made it to boat deck, they're all gone. And really, they could have been up on deck near 30 minutes after their collision. Of the ship's lifeboat complements, which historically there were 20, 18 are visually shown on Titanic in this model. Issue with the last two is there would have been the second one that would have been pre-swung out, I believe. There was no way for Lego to recreate this feature, so it was left off. But the collapsible funnels, which were located on top of the officers' quarters, or maybe the other one here, meant to be here, I don't know. There's contradicting evidence, at least from what I can find, about their location. Maybe on top of the wheelhouse, may have just been pre-swung out all the time. I've always seen different images and people, depicting it differently. But down here on the bow, we got more amazing details, got bollards and anchor chains, which do hook up to said anchor. And let's see if I'm moving up, change moving. We got the crane. This crane would not have been used for cargo. If this anchor was to have fallen off, this crane would have lifted this anchor up and into position. That's what this crane is used for. On the wreck, it is swung forward because when this cargo hatch here blew open with the force of the impact, the force of water swung this crane around. We even have another beautiful detail. It's right here. This little stairwell would have led down onto the A deck promenade and down onto the B deck promenade. But there was no promenade in this area. It was private cabins. But around here there would have been a former promenade, I believe. At the stern, it's a little dark back here because of my desk. I apologize. We have the 3 propellers and rudder. There was a great conversation about whether this was a quadruple bladed propeller or a triple bladed. But since Britannic and Olympic both had quadruple, and there's a debate about this question, and White Star Line being the innovative company that they were, I believe it was a triple blade. And also, this model was built off Titanic's blueprints. I'm assuming Lego would, the blueprints would detail the propellers. Back up on the stern though, we got the ship's docking bridge. This bridge should have been, officially made people wonder what this bridge was used for. It was used for docking. Had an overhang over the side, which you would be able to see down the length of the ship using. And basically, there was a helm here, like up at the front. And you would be able to actually steer and control the ship from back here. These were the telegraphs. I love this little identification. How telegraphs were used. And these cranes back here. Lots of venting. This area is quite possibly one of the most horrific locations in maritime history. 1,000 people were clumped up here as a massive chunk of ship sank into the ocean in about 5 minutes. I think it's now time that we cut to inside said vessel, the Titanic. Alright, at the bow, brake section, which never broke off on Titanic, we have a lot to cover, as this is everyone's favorite locations. Down here, we have 4 of the, I don't know how many, I've forgotten how many boilers that Titanic had. These would have been powered by about 100, I think, men, 24/7, shoveling coal into the 3 furnaces inside the boiler. Inside, heat and steam would have combined, would have been up through piping, sent aft to the triple expansion engines and turbine, which we'll have a look at later. Here we got, I guess, half one of the pool, since the other half is over there on the midship. This was basically one of the first pools ever to be put to sea. The first pool, I believe, being on her sister ship, Olympic. And also, that's a little fact for you. Titanic was not the first of her kind, nor was she the last. 3 of these ships were built. They were known as the Olympic class, after the first ship in line, Olympic. Olympic had a stunning career for 29 years, I believe, of service before she was laid up and scrapped. She served in the war, rammed a U-boat, and overall had a very good time. Tried to come to the aid of Titanic, but was turned away after people believed that, imagine getting off a sunken ship right onto its identical twin. Not be a good time. But yes, I'll talk more about her other sister ship, Britannic, in a little bit. No, I'll talk about her now. Britannic was the last of the three to be built. World War I had broken out about around the time of her completion, so the Royal Navy commissioned her as a hospital ship. 11 months into her service, she struck a sea mine off the island of Key. I do not know the nowadays name of the island. You can Google that. Her name is Britannic. Quite a common name for White Star Line ships. And she sits on her side in one piece, and you can scuba dive to her. You have to be incredibly skilled. It's right on the limit of how deep a human can go. One day I wish to visit her. Yeah, back to the Titanic and what we're looking at right now. So here would have been third class, second class rooms. It was kind of, yeah, it was like in between, I guess you would say. Here would be the first class dining saloon, going from port to starboard. This room was a massive room, could seat all of first class, and overall was just an amazing sized room, absolutely huge. Here would be, first class cabins, and as you can see, they're quite lavish. We've got bathrooms and bedrooms in the way, bathroom further back, and private promenades. Now in this area, I'm not exactly how happy I am with how it's depicted, but this would be just like a sitting area. Going into the top of the grand staircase, which would have been here. It's not detailed at all because of the locking mechanism. But basically, the staircase would have ended actually 1 story higher here and not here. This is a limitation of Lego. So they moved it down 1 deck. And here's the ship's clock being represented by a compass. I love that little piece of detail. And we got these, chairs and things. It would have been very lovely and beautiful. It would be a great place to have a sit, have a chat, talk about the affairs going on within the family. And you will probably know this is the grand staircase. It has a stair sort of look to it. It's really hard to see though, due to just how it is. Get up closer, there's actually corridors. They don't go out far back at all. They have a black brick at the end of them. But still very nice to see. I think it's time we move on to the forward midship cutoff. Here is the forward midship cutoff. As you can see, we have the pool half number 2. They would connect together. If I bring the bow back over, give me a second. As you can see, if I was to close the ship like a book right now, the pool would, combined into one pool. I love that feature, it's amazing. But here would be where Scotland Road would be located, that corridor I was talking about earlier. This would have been, this would have been Scotland. Sorry. I just need to get my orientation correct of the ship. So it's on the starboard side. Yeah, this is Scotland Road. Scotland Road was here. It's really not much the same. We just got third class cabins, the pool, second class, maybe, this is the first class dining saloon, first class, maybe also second class, rooms, staterooms. Oh, so I forgot to mention, this is the promenade deck, which actually does go full length with the ship. Then once again, we just got more seating from the grand staircase, or maybe that's the smoking room. This is not detailed at all. Kind of a shame. They should. Oh, no, you can't even see that. Sorry, I apologize. More of the grand staircase, in this room, which I really wish they actually detailed for the boat deck grand staircase, or maybe the gymnasium, or I believe it was gymnasium that was, yeah, around here. Actually, no, gymnasium would have been about there, because this is actually, the grand staircase would actually be here, be depicted here, because that's just where it's convenient to break the ship in half. But this dome identifies the real location of the grand staircase. Yeah, really, not much. Down here we just got the coal bunkers and ladders to escape if there was ever flooding. Foreshadowing. And yeah. Well, it's not really all that much interesting. From here, forward there's not much interesting happen. Alright, well, let's go to the the split section on the opposite side of this, which was also where the ship broke in half, historically, roughly. Much different things are happening at the stern here, as you can see. Mainly, not that there not being as much interesting detail. They also got a representation of the other grand staircase. I was wrong about how far down it went, I forgot. Don't get mad at me, please. I'm not an expert, I am a fool, remember that. Spamos. Yeah, here is where the very large triple expansion engines slot into this section of the ship. If you're looking through my timelines, it's also where I nearly trapped a Lego minifigure. I removed them before fully finishing the ship. If you ever wanted to make an engine for the propellers, here is where you'd stick your motors. If you ever wanted to motorize this thing. This ship does not float. I do not know from experience. I know from YouTube. So Google it. Yeah, we got just really second class estates. This would have been the Cardi restaurant, I believe. The Alcado. I don't know how to say his name. He died with the ship. I'm very sorry. I believe this is Alcado restaurant. This was the Cafe Parisien, or the Parisian Caf. I don't know how it's said. Caf Parisien. Don't get mad at me, French people. I'm sorry. Yeah, but there really is not much for detail in this section. But to be honest, third class is interesting and boring. There's not much to it. That's kind of just how they lived. Their lives were boring. They were just traveling to America for a new life. That was really it. They didn't want to deal with all this. They just wanted to get there and back, or just get there and settle with their families. They didn't need all the luxuries of, second class and first class, but they actually got decent luxuries for the time, that is. Now, let's move on to the final interior, the stern. And here we are, at the stern of the mighty ship. Once again, Alcadi, I don't know how to say his name, restaurant, Cafe Parisien, or maybe it's actually a smoking room, I'm not thinking about it. Dome to the aft staircase can be removed, actually lets minimal light into this room, but it works. Really, the same as what's on the other side. You don't care about any of that detail. What you care about are these two towering monstrosities, known as engines. These are 3 stories tall, and are the equivalent of what is driving your crappy little car. They're called triple expansion, even though they have 4 cylinders. That's because, I believe I'm getting this right, we got high pressure, medium pressure, low pressure, high pressure. And these cylinders, and they got a knob here, and they would basically, the pressure would then make a move, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know how engineering works, but basically, you twist the screw, the power moves, same on the opposite side. Fortunately, there is no knob here, which would have been amazing to turn the central propeller, but the propeller is hooked up to a turbine inside the ship. You're not going to be able to see it through here, it's all the way back there, but there is another way I can show you it. Here we which no YouTuber has ever covered, to my knowledge. People who like this ship, I'm sorry. But basically, these funnels are built in assemblies like this. All 4 of them. They're easy to remove. Alright, have a look down here. Right down there, that circular structure that there's kind of light being shone on. That is the turbine. That's the center propeller. Basically, any spare steam that came from these engines would be transferred into the central propeller. Also, this turbine could not reverse. That's why it doesn't turn in the movie. But basically, that turbine, would take spare steam and a bit of its own steam and would use it to twist and turn the central propeller. It was very effective, very powerful. It could not reverse, which quite possibly was the downside of Titanic, which led to its disaster. By the way, as of the recording of this video, Titanic, April 15th was a few days ago. This video is gonna come out in May due to my scheduling and how I do my videos. But this video is being filmed in April, just after April 15th, which in real life was when Titanic sank. Titanic is now 110 years old as far as being at the bottom of the ocean. I believe she's 111 as far as being built. She did sink on a maiden voyage though, so I might be wrong about it. She might just be 110 years old. I don't know. I am a fool, not a genius. Remember that. Unless you know me in real life, then don't remember that. I actually have a lot of knowledge. I just get things wrong from time to time. Here's let me just stick all that back on. And I will have a little bonus thing that I am going to do. Back to the full ship. I'll build it up again. All in working order, nothing broken. As far as these bonus things, these are bonus things I have personally built for the ship. First one is this. I built it before I even got the ship, just as a bit of fun beforehand. It is in fact an iceberg. You can imagine it going, just breaking on its side, then drifting away into the distance. That's my desk, by the way. It's a mess. But the other thing is in this little boat. Those are mini people. They're mini figures, I guess. Mini figures I made for the ship. They're 3 studs stacked on top of the top stud being made of a gold or yellow element. I'll now go place them all over the ship, then I'll cut back. Okay, the ship is now fully decked out with people for days. I have forgotten the exact number. I believe it's 6 times 12, which I can't be bothered figuring out right now. As you can see, the ship does look and feels a whole lot more alive now having all of these people scattered over it. There we go. Plenty of people, plenty of interesting things are happening. We even have a king of the world. There's just lots of things happening. And okay. I think I'm basically done with this video here. One last thing I want to do is I'm going to see if I can get a solid promenade deck view. I might need to break. Actually, no, I know how to do it. Once again, anyone who loves this model, look away. The entire front of the superstructure. It's a bit of a loose chunk of shit. I'm glad people are falling. But yeah, you can just kind of remove it like that. And now, let's see. I stand down. There you go. Let's see. How good of a view can I get? There we go. Yep. Whole length of the ship. The promenade deck. the whole length of the ship right there. The reason why I couldn't do that with it on is because those are kind of in the way. I will try now though, just in case people want to see how easy or possible it is. I'm actually kind of curious myself. Trying to get sunning, but no, that's not really happening, is it? No, that's not happening. No, that piece is in the way. Yep. So yeah, that me removing that was justified. I think I might end my video here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry about the wait. There's one viewer in particular who's been waiting for this video in a long time. You know who you are. I'm gonna message you once I'm done filming this, let you know that this video is coming. This thing is the pride and joy of my collection. Our king of the world has fallen overboard and is now being run over. Oh god, I'm not the king of the world. Oh god, the propellers. See you later, guys.